Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it. You already know. Like a motherfucking smack at it. Bye up, bye up. In a menudo style in direct fashion, we're going to get straight to the content of the day. But before we do, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Ding! Put your notification bell on also. That way you're directing the direction of the dope content that I'm kicking. Hey, I'm very humble. Thank you for all your support. So what's going on with the bikers, brother? Take a shower, right? Look, first and foremost, man, I was asked a question, and then I seen something that's pretty relevant to the topic. The topic is 47, right? 47 is going after everything and everyone. Anyone could get it. Hey, that's what you voted for, right? Look, I've been getting a lot of hatred, a lot of people that are questioning my ability to support the raza because I voted for 47. Look, there's a lot of good points in people's administration, and there's a lot of bad points. And sometimes those good points outweigh the bad points, and sometimes vice versa. It's the other way around. Now, we're in a situation here in the United States of America where the country is divided. There's a lot of people that believe what they see on social media and believe what they see on big time media, and they're very impressionable, meaning everything they hear and see, they believe. Well, I'm here to tell you in an uncut fashion, verga, don't believe that shit, man. Here's some knowledge you can't get in college. 47 is targeting certain groups, certain organizations, certain people who they believe or he believes are making the United States a bad place to be in, to live in. Our social awareness has to be up. You need to be able to decipher without anyone else telling you what exactly it is. Okay, what exactly is affecting your livelihood and your life. Now, I'm not a firm believer in the razas taking everybody's jobs. The razas taking any job, period, man, and they're working their ass off, and I respect it, and I love it, and I love that about my people. At the same time, I do understand, man, that when people come illegally into a country, and that's any country, just not the United States, anywhere. If I go somewhere, they're going to kick my ass up out of there, man. And it is what it is. If I do a crime, I'm going to do the time. Now, I was asked a question about the biker clubs. First and foremost, my utmost respects goes to the bikers because I've lived and been around bikers my whole life. My father associated pretty heavy. My tios associated pretty heavy with numerous biker clubs. And some clubs a little bit more than others. Some that are considered one percenters, outlaw biker clubs, and all that. And so I got a pretty extensive history when it comes to being around, the biker lifestyle. Not saying that I was any part of it, but I was with family and have been around family that were in the thick of things. I've had family members, and I do have family members that are part of one percenter biker clubs. And I say club with emphasis on club because people get clubs and gangs mixed up. These biker clubs are not gangs. If they were, they would tell you, right? They're not ashamed or scared to let you know exactly what is on their mind. That's how bikers roll. But a lot of people have been tripping and turning this whole Trump thing into a racist thing and saying, why is he focused on Mexican gangs and Salvadorian gangs and Haitian gangs and Venezuelan gangs, but he's not focusing on homegrown gangs in here in the United States like biker clubs, like outlaw bikers. Let me tell you, first and foremost, bikers have never defined themselves as a gang. There are the criminal element within biker clubs. There are guys that get caught up. There have been RICOs against biker clubs and clubhouses, but at the same time, that doesn't necessarily mean they identify as a gang. Now, is Trump targeting people of minority, people of color, and leaving out the bikers because they're good old woods, brother? Because I'm here to tell you, there's a club called the Mongols, right? That are predominantly Chicano or Mexicano. Yes, they do have white members. Yes, they do have members of different ethnicities, but they are predominantly Mexicano. Do you see him targeting them? No, right? And they're brown as can be. It's not a color thing. It's a thing where I think the administration, 47's administration, has stepped back. They've taken a look, and they realize a lot of the things that are happening or what people believe are happening is due to gang violence, is due to border control, is due to just people fucking being lazy. And that's the truth of the matter, right? Now, when it comes to the bikers, man, they should be left out of this equation. And the reason is this. A lot of the guys that formed a lot of these old school biker clubs we hear about, like the Hells Angels, the Mongols. They all fought in Vietnam, or they were involved in the military. A lot of these guys left the military and just like that brotherhood. They like that, you know, that close. It's called canalismo, being close to your brothers, man. And so they look for an outlet for that. And a lot of them they don't want to turn towards crime. So they turn towards bikers. Now, like I said, man, there has been a lot of things in the past and even the present where bikers have been involved at some level in crime on an individual basis. Most bikers are 9-to-5ers. Most bikers ride to feel free and to respect the Constitution and respect the freedoms and justices for all. And they do that, man. Everyone always focuses on what the bikers are doing bad rather than what they are doing good. You know, I've seen a lot of toy drives. I've seen a lot of, outreach, a lot of help. You know, do you guys remember just a few months ago, there was the big old Venezuelan panic, right? Before Trump even got in office, everybody was talking about how these Venezuelan gang members were overtaking apartment complexes and they were fucking, you know, just pulling up on people, and they were Nino Browning people, you know, Cash Money brothers, brother. They were taking over. And there was a whisper that the Hells Angels were going to pull up, man, and defend the integrity and the safety of people and the United States Constitution and all that. And then come to find out that was never the case. And I said it in my video when that was spoken on. The bikers are pretty low key, man. They don't want nothing to do with nothing. Okay, they're away. They have their own rules, their own clubhouses, their own bylaws. They're doing what is in their agenda and what benefits them. There was no reasoning for them to pull up and do some type of domestic terrorism type shit and get into conflict with gangs that didn't even involve them. Now, that doesn't mean bikers don't defend the integrity of the United States and of the people of USA, right? Some do. Some are pretty diehard. That's why a lot of them fly the American flag patches. That's why a lot of them, you know, fly American flags. You know, they're pretty respectful and pretty happy with the country they live in. That's the issue and the problem here is there's a lot of people that are not happy in the country they live in, all based upon what they see on TV, all based upon what they hear, you know, no truths, all lies, all fake news, all fake propaganda, man, to create chaos and to disturb your day and to create mass hysteria and to create fear mongering. That's what's going on. You know, there's a lot going on right now as far as people being targeted, or it seems like they're being targeted for deportation. But the truth of the matter is, man, if you do a crime, you do the time. If you've come over illegally, they're going to get you, man. Unfortunately, families are being torn apart. Children are being displaced. A lot of shit's going on that I don't support, right? Does that mean that everything that 47 does is bad? Well, some choose to believe that. I'm not one of those people. I choose to believe, man, deportation, all this has been happening. This is nothing new, okay? It's just being under the microscope, and people are starting to notice it, and people are now making excuses or trying to point the fingers in different directions, and that's where this whole conversation comes up with the bikers. Well, why aren't the biker gangs being targeted? Because I've never met a guy from a biker gang in my life. I've met guys from biker clubs. You know, they don't have the symbolization of gang colors or identify themselves as gang members, and a lot of them are not going out there doing criminal activity like gang members are. Does that mean all gang members are bad? No, absolutely not. I know a couple of homeboys from my old neighborhood, man, that are solid dudes that have opened up businesses that give back to the community. People like GB from Merced, man, that gave backpacks and pencils and watercolors and all kinds of things to children. But everyone would rather focus on him getting incarcerated, you know, on a RICO or things that are going on, instead of giving him his flowers for looking out for his community, the community that he toiled in the soil. Well, here's some knowledge you can't get in college, man. A lot of the bikers do the same things, and people are trying to say, well, why aren't they being targeted? It's racism. There are bikers of every different color, ethnicity, creed. I've met black biker clubs. I've met white biker clubs. I've met Mexican biker clubs, Samoans, everything you could think of under the sun, man. And, you know, there's no reason for them to be targeted. Believe me, they've been targeted enough in the past with RICOs and the feds and all that. Believe me, bikers are not slept on, and they are watched pretty heavily. You know, if you remember just a couple months ago in Stockton, you know, their clubhouse, the Hells Angels clubhouse, was raided quite extensively, and a lot of guys were incarcerated and locked up. So believe me, if you're part of any type of club, gang, organization, group, you're being watched. They understand that. I understand that. It's time for the people to understand that and stop playing the blame game and pointing fingers. Now, the people that are pointing fingers are trying to cause racial division And basically are saying if you're a biker, you're a white wood, brother. Now, of course, the majority of bikers we see on TV and we see in the area do have white men involved in it. There are a lot of white men involved in biker clubs. That doesn't necessarily mean they're racist or necessarily mean, that they're doing something, that they're allowed to do something that Mexicans or Salvadorians or Latinos or blacks are not allowed to do. Because at the end of the day, one thing I know about the incarceration tactics of police, and one thing I know about anybody, they don't give a fuck what color you are. There's a bed space for everybody. I've seen a lot of bikers locked up in prison in my time. They didn't just get there, brother, because, they got there because they did crime, bro. And that's just how that is. But I was asked the question, why is the raza, why is everyone being targeted? But Trump is leaving the bikers alone. Who says he's leaving the bikers alone? They've been targeted for decades now. And it's not about targeting. It's not about one group being persecuted over the other. This is life. And right now, the focus is on border control, and the focus is on the United States getting their shit together. So, yeah, it's not going to be pretty, man. It's going to be, in fact, it's going to be devastating to some families. And my heart felt real feelings go out to the people because I witnessed it from day one already. I told you guys I was in the Home Depot parking lot and I seen a family getting torn apart and it fucking hurt my heart. And yeah, I involved myself. Maybe I shouldn't, maybe I should. But at the end of the day, I'm a firm believer in fighting the good fight for the people. And yes, just because I believe in the administration as a whole doesn't mean that I condone families and kids being separated. And I'm not with any of that, right? I got homeboys in Mexico right now, that were torn apart from their family, and Trump had nothing to do with it. We'll just say that. Now, as far as the bikers go, man, this domestic street terrorism act, that I guess Trump wrote an executive order and signed in, and he's looking at cartels and he's looking at different groups as domestic terrorism or as foreign terrorists, excuse me. There was a thing where they were talking about street gangs. How's that going to affect them? I did a video on it. It can affect them at every level, right? Because, they start from the top and they go to the bottom. Eventually, man, they're going to start focusing on gangs. Like they're already focusing on MS. They're going to start focusing on other local street gangs. They're coming to a theater near you like Jaws. They're trying to take a bite out of something. But here's something that they're not talking about. That street terrorism gang act, that's been signed a long time ago. Anytime as a gang member, you're locked up in the state of California. Other states differentiate, right? It's different rules and different regulations for everybody. But in the state of California, where I grew up, where I'm from, where I forever will be from, if you commit any type of criminal activity and you're a part of a gang, they look at it like you're doing it in association with that gang or for the benefit of that gang. I don't care if you steal a Butterfinger fucking candy bar from Bart Simpson. Hey, Bart Simpson.
Like, hey, man, let go of my Butterfinger, man.
I don't care what you do. They're going to hit you with the gang enhancement. They're going to make it part of the street gang and terrorism, domestic terrorism act. These things have been going on for decades now. Ain't nothing new. It's just now the focus is being on Trump and what he's doing politically, answering, some of the naysayers that didn't believe he was going to push as hard as he was. Yes, he did. There's a lot of people like, hey, Gunn, I bet you feel stupid, huh? You voted for him. Not really, not necessarily. One thing I am conflicted with is the tearing apart of people's families, but that's happened since every administration has been a part of that. Some more so than others. This is just being highlighted. Now, as far as the biker situation goes, I'm tired of people turn everything racial. I've seen that my whole life. Since I was young in the California Youth Authority, I've seen people turn things into racial things. If we're watching Soul Train on the TV, there's always a Mexican or a white dude saying, why we got to watch Soul Train? Why the blacks got to watch it? Why not? When we're watching novelas or Esmeralda or Cantinflas or fucking whoever else is on TV, ain't no one tripping, right? If the blacks say, oh, man, that's that Mexican shit, right? It gets racial. The ones are like, brother, can we watch The Facts of Life, brother? Wait up, Tootie's black, never mind, right? There's certain things that people like, oh, I want to watch that biker show. I want to watch that one where Johnny, or Jesse, whatever he is, he works on motorcycles all day. It's racial division and people push it. When really, man, there's people of every different ethnicity that enjoy different things. I enjoy Soul Train like a motherfucker. When Al Green jumped in that motherfucker, I was like, man, we all need to stay together. Let's stay together. Okay, I also enjoy Caliente. There's different shows that I enjoy, and I don't look at it from a racial aspect. I don't say, oh, that's a black show or a white show or a brown show. I say, that's a fucking TV show. Hey, there's a remote control for a reason. Click if you don't want to watch it. But people have always caused racial division, and I've seen, situations where the cops would bring people into prisons and they flood the prison with blacks on the yard to cause tension, or they flood the prison with Southsiders, or they flood the prison with Woods or skinheads. I've been to prisons like Susanville, man, where we called it the White House, where the skinheads were probably the most dominant group. There was a gang of them. And from the outside looking in, it looked very racial, like they got all the liberties and all the special shit, but really they didn't. Really, there was just more of them to see. So in hindsight, looking back, it looked that way, but it really wasn't that way. We were all still locked up. We all still didn't have shit coming. The only thing we had coming in the morning was a fucking oversized cinnamon bun that had no taste, period, right? And Sunday breakfast hit. Man, I ain't gonna lie, them sausage patties were different. Now, here's the true story of everything. People that cause racial division, they have some type of hatred in their heart, or they utilize that as a tool to manipulate people and to fearmonger. So what if the bikers are not being targeted, and the biker and it has nothing to do with the racial aspect of anything. It just means they haven't got their time yet, and maybe they're not deserving of that time. That this border whole deportation ICE thing, is touching a lot of families. I got a lot of white homeboys that are married to Mexican chicks and a lot of Mexican homeboys that are married to white chicks. And believe me, that white woman's going to cry as much for her husband's family as anyone would. Okay, so you have to think about situations like that. Instead of saying, well, Trump's, he's only going after the raza and he's only going after blacks and he's not going after whites. Believe me, if you're from England and you overstayed your visa, get your fucked up teeth up out of here, brother, right? And that's just how it is. On the West Coast, where I'm broadcasting my content from, yes, the majority of the people that I'm seeing being deported and harassed and fucked with are going to be of Latino descent, because there are more Mexicans, more Salvadorians, more Central Americanos, more South Americans, more all that on this side. But in places like the Midwest and the East Coast, not necessarily as much. There's a lot of Haitians, black people, right? There's a lot of people from Iceland, a lot of people that their visas, they overstayed, and they're being targeted as well. I'm tired of this being a raza thing, and, you're turning your back on the raza because you support this guy or that guy. Hey, I support my people, man. And hey, there's tragedy in everything. Okay, if you're a Bible believer, then you understand that every great kingdom must fall. Everybody must fall. Everyone's going to be persecuted. It's just the way it is. It's unfortunate. I'm not happy about it, but it is what it is, right? But as far as people deflecting and trying to blame the bikers, why they're not getting caught up, to me, that's dry snitching. Hey, go get them. Why aren't you fucking with them? No, leave them alone. If they ain't fucking with you, why you fuck with them? That's how I feel in the situation, right? But, I heard a thing that Trump said the other day, and he said, everybody that is committing crime is going to get wiped off the planet. They're about to win all the way there, right? I said, man, if the aliens come down, they better fucking keep through check, because they're about to trying to take everyone out. So that means that he's just not pointing fingers in the direction of one ethnicity. It may look that way from time to time, but really, man, anyone who's out there committing criminal activity, you're taking your life in your hands. You're taking your freedoms in your hands. See, I've done that for a lot of years. And I did time for a lot of years. And I lost time with my family and my children and my loved ones and my homeboys and my barrio and everything because I did crime. So doing time and being moved from place to place, that's been happening. There ain't nothing new there. It's just everyone's trying to focus because they don't like one guy for one reason or another. I've heard everything under the sun. And now it's a situation where they're saying, oh, it's a racial thing because he's not focusing on bikers and their domestic groups too. No, they're not gangs. They're not gang members. They are clubs, man. And a lot of them are not even 1%ers. There's very few 1%ers when it comes to the biker world. Okay, there's a lot of good dudes doing a lot of good things. And man, you're mad because of the skin color. To me, the racist is the one that would even fucking look in that direction or even point that out. But why aren't they being messed with? Is it because they're white? I don't know what the fuck color they are. To tell you the truth, most bikers that I've been around have oil stains all over them so that they ceased to be white a long time ago, brother. Right? Anyways, with that being said, man, I just wanted to touch on that. And people are going to feel however they feel about me. They're going to even unsubscribe to my channel. At the end of the day, man, I support my people to the fullest. And best believe if I'm cruising down the street and I see ICE fucking with people, I'm jumping all up in the mix. You never know. I might be podcasting from fucking TJ one day because they just get tired of my shenanigans and bullshit. But hey, I'm willing to go there for my gente. As far as the bikers go, man, stop bringing them up into conversations because I best believe, man, you would never, ever say that around some real bikers. That's a fact. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I truly believe in. That's the betterment of all people. Gracias.